I'm back for round 3 of the poor man plot today. First time I came in here, it was too wet to burn. So the guys came back a couple days later and it was still, the weeds hadn't quite died down enough or dried down enough that they would burn. So we're gonna try it again today. We got a good wind that'll help to fan the flames and keep it going. We're gonna get this poor man plot burned off, get it seeded down. Then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the rich man plot. I've given up on crossing. I went and looked at the spot where I got stuck in the skid loader, and there's probably a 0% chance of me getting that dug out and creating any kind of a crossing there that we can get on the other side of that creek. So the rich man plot's going to have to be on this side. So I'll show you where that's going to be, and that'll be a project that we hit here in the next couple of weeks or maybe even into the summer. The nice thing about that, any food plot that we do in the summer is still going to be a great spot for us to hunt over because we can plant it to big and beastie. We're going to put clover back here. That'll be up and growing by October. But anything we don't get to during the spring, we can still do a poor man plot or any other type of food plot during the summer and plant big and beastie and have another great spot to hunt over. So you don't have to get it all done in the spring. I guess that's the point. And I do like that fact because it gives you some flexibility in your schedule and in the weather conditions and so forth, because you never know what's going to happen. You can get busy or the weather can turn poor and the next thing you know you're not getting it done. We're getting it done today, one way or the other. This seed is going on that dirt sometime today, and then we'll talk about the rich man plot after that. We're just not getting this stuff to burn. It's definitely dying, probably dead, just not dried down very well, and it's wet in here. So the ground is real damp and moist. I'm not worried about the competition from these weeds because they're dead. The only thing I'm worried about now is getting the seed down to the soil, and that's why we burn. We don't burn to kill it, 'cause we do that with the chemicals. We burn in order to expose the bare dirt, so when the seed hits it, the seed has contact with it. You know, put it this way, when you broadcast it, the seed gets to the soil. If the seed doesn't get to the soil, obviously it's not gonna grow. So I'm doing a little bit of raking now, trying to break up the thatch in those areas where it's the thickest. And these seeds are so small. Clover seeds are tiny. They'll work their way down through a lot of this grass that's laying on top of the ground here. So I'm not super worried about getting good germination here. I'm going to seed it a little bit heavier than normal, probably about twice as much as I normally would put into a spot this size, just knowing that some of it's going to stay, you know, above the ground and it's not going to germinate. So I'm about ready to spread the seed and call this one done. It's the worst looking poor man plot we've ever come up with. This site was just not a good choice. It's just too wet down in here. The advantage of these bottom fields is that during the summer, they don't drought out like the ridgetop fields do. Mostly we've been putting the ridges into the poor man plots. And by the middle of the summer, when it starts to get really dry, the trees are sucking the moisture out from underneath the clover because their roots are dipping underneath the food plot. I'll get the seed down and get back to the office and talk about those 2 bucks. I'm planting Frigid Forage pure trophy clover in this small plot. And this little bag is enough for half an acre. And I've probably got, at the most, 1/8 of an acre in this plot. So I'm not going to put it all down. The nice thing is the bags are resealable. So whatever I don't use, I'll just put back in here and we'll keep it for the next project. But this is a nice blend of various different types of clovers, a lot of white clovers in there, but there's some reds too. And the advantage of a blend versus just planting a single variety is the adaptability of the seed to a wide range of conditions. Like this is going to be a wet spot, but we also have areas that we plant this that are up on ridges where it's pretty dry. So planting an individual variety of clover may not be well adapted to every different environment that you plant it into, but a blend does a nice job because there's usually something in the blend that does well in just about every situation.